Hey playa, we're getting closer and closer to graduation day, and for those of you in middle school, you might be wondering what is the next step here, going to high school, but what does that mean? Does it mean you'll ever see your friends again? Will you ever talk to your crushes? What is high school going to be like? These are all big questions, so I wanted to share what my experience was like graduating middle school to help you start planning ahead to get ready for high school.
This is the Just Me. You're watching the Just Me.
Looking back at my own life, it really wasn't until middle school that I started to develop a core group of friends. These were kids that I would hang out with and talk to during lunch, we would hang out and talk before and after classes, and some of us even shared classes together. It was awesome having real friends like that. We would chat all the time about wrestling, but as graduation grew closer, I realized there would be a point where I probably wouldn't see them again. In fact, one of my closest friends and I were trying to figure out how we can really keep in touch, not just talking to each other online, but actually maybe even hang out throughout the summer and see one another. And this was a bit of a challenge for us. We both lived in totally different areas. There was a bridge and tolls and all that stuff in between us, which meant that it was going to be kind of difficult to convince our parents to drive us and pay the tolls every single time we wanted to see each other. And I'll be honest with you, the fact that I probably wouldn't see my friends again was kind of sad, and I'm sure that's kind of what you're feeling now too. It's never easy to say goodbye to friends, and I remember at the end of the year we had our big middle school dance thing, and of course me and all my friends got together and just hung out the whole night and talked. But when push came to shove, here's the reality of what happened. Me and my middle school friends don't even talk anymore. And I think part of the reason is because both of us accepted the fate that we probably wouldn't see each other anymore, so we just didn't even try to reach out to one another afterwards. If you're in middle school though, don't make the same mistake I did. Always aim to keep in contact with your friends. They're your friends for a reason, so do your best to keep talking to them even after you guys graduate. Saying goodbye to your friends is hard, but possible because you talk to them regularly. But what about your crushes, the people that you never talk to that you want to, though? In middle school, I had a ton of crushes on a ton of different girls, a bunch of them that I never even spoke to and just liked from a distance. And yet I felt this strong desire in me to do something about it. I needed to talk to them. I needed to ask them out. I needed to at least confess how I felt. But that's what I want to talk to you guys about. I don't think you should confess your feelings, but I do think you should talk to your crush. I talked about it in the last video I uploaded, which I'll link up here, but ideally what you want to do is set up plans with your crush. Try to get a lot of people together so you can hang out with them in a group. Now I know for a lot of you, your crush hangs out with their own group of friends and you hang out with yours, but since it's the end of the year, no one really is going to be opposed to getting everyone together to do one last big hoorah before the school year ends. I know that in some ways you may feel like you can't let go of your crushes, you like them too much and you can't imagine them not being in your life. But as you move into high school, as you meet new people, those crushes will fade away. For myself and the tons of girls that I liked, when I moved into high school, I met so many new girls to have crushes on that the middle school ones just kind of faded to the background for me. So try not to get too hung up on the crush that got away. There'll be more crushes as you enter the high school years. Enough about the sad things that you may be losing. Some of the good stuff that's going to be going away are any kind of bullies that picked on you or any kind of drama you got sucked into. For me, in middle school, there was one teacher that took care of the lunchroom that just hated my guts. And I don't blame him, I was a bit of a prankster and I was kind of the class clown at the time, but I knew I would never worry about him or see him again, which was pretty cool. And there were a few bullies that I knew I would never have to worry about again. They were going off to different schools, so I knew their criticisms, their picking on me, their making fun of me would just go away. One bully in particular was going to my high school, but let me just jump ahead and tell you, once we got to the high school level, I went on and developed a new group of friends, he developed his group of friends, and we never even interacted with each other. And as far as the drama goes, once you graduate, it's all going to be left behind you. Sure, when you go into high school, there'll be new drama for you to take care of and be involved in, but at least for now, anything you're experiencing in middle school will kind of fall away. I do want to keep in mind that not everyone's situation is the same. Some of you are going from middle school directly into high school with the same group of people, so you may still encounter some of the same things. But with that new high school mentality, you'll be a lot more wiser now to be able to handle it a little bit differently. And all of that is in regards to the people. But let's talk about one of the scary things that people are afraid of as they go into high school, the amount of schoolwork you're going to have to endure. When I was in middle school, I was kind of scared of going to high school. I didn't know what to expect. I knew that it was a lot harder, and everything I had seen on TV made it seem like high school kids had it all together. They were all cool, and they were all doing just lots of things all the time. I think I had gotten so accustomed to my middle school, traveling the halls, I knew where every room was, and I knew how to get anywhere and do anything I really needed to do. When you're an 8th grader, you feel like you have it all figured out. You don't have to worry about new things because you've been at the school long enough to have everything under control. But high school was a completely new beast. In fact, one of the most scariest things before I even started high school was the fact that while I was in middle school, I had a bus that picked me up in front of my house. But now that I was going to be in high school, I had to take the regular public transportation bus, and I had never done that before. I'd have to walk from my house all the way to the bus stop, take that public bus with real people going to work and stuff, head on over to another bus stop, only to transfer to continue going to school so I can then walk from that bus stop to the school. This new travel plan was scary for me. Not to mention people were regularly throwing around words like standardized testing and SATs. Now, I'm not saying this to scare you. Once you graduate middle school, you'll have a little bit of time to relax, unwind, and get ready for high school. And trust me, I truly believe that you have what it takes to conquer any high school work that comes your way. I know it may seem scary and like completely uncharted territory, but once you get into the hang of things, you'll learn the ropes and you won't be as afraid, just like you're not afraid now as an 8th grader in your own school. But I do want to tell you what my personal middle school graduation experience was like. Since me and all my friends loved wrestling, we knew we had to do something wrestling related as we went up to get our diplomas. There I stood in my blue robe with my blue hat, waiting for them to call my name. And when they did and said Joshua Rodriguez, I walked on over and did a Kurt Angle woo as I grabbed my diploma. It felt kind of bittersweet to graduate middle school. On one end, I had to say goodbye to all my friends and the crushes, some of them I never even talked to in person, but then on the other end, I didn't have to worry about bullies and drama, and I knew I was entering a new stage of life, which was kind of cool. And that's what I really want you to recognize here. You're graduating middle school, you're growing and moving onward into high school, which is a big step. I know it seems scary, but I know you have what it takes to move on forward into high school, to learn the ropes, to make new friends, to interact with your crushes, and to be your best self for the next few years. What do you think though? Are you someone in middle school right now, not even just an 8th grader, but anyone in middle school that's thinking about what graduation is going to be like and is worried about any of the things I mentioned? Leave your comments below and we'll talk about it. I want to help you start getting ready for high school right now. So definitely check out the video linked on the side where I talk about 5 things you need to know about high school. Also, there's a playlist underneath it with a bunch of more high school videos to help you get into the gear and prepare yourself for the next phase of your life. As always, guys, love and peace. Congratulations to those of you that are graduating.